Ladies and gentlemen.
I can't really heard what Jeremy says because I got my 2 Stanley Cup rings right in my ear.
Introduce.
This is a guy that's going to be traded, though.
You're an announcer with a long stick from time to time.
You think it's my fault? Is that what you're saying? This guy's such an idiot here.
The Puck Luck Fantasy Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Puck Luck Fantasy Podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Sudemans, and right over there is your other host, Derek Sudemans. Welcome to the second day of playoffs. We got a big 5-game slate we're going to be breaking down for you tonight. Make sure you follow along at our website, puckluckfantasy.com, and follow our Twitter at puckluckfantasy for any line changes and stuff like that. All right, so without further ado, let's get to the first game of the night between the New Jersey Devils and the Tampa Bay Lightning. All right, so we have Kincaid projected for the Devils. We are really not a fan of him tonight. He's our lowest ranked goalie. And then we have Andrei Vasilevskiy confirmed, who is in our top tier of ranked goalies. He's probably our top ranked goalie of the night. So we really like Vasilevskiy here. How about for stacks, Derek?
Yeah, Vasilevskiy is the top goalie of the night, actually, so we get to him right away in the first game here. And that works really well because Tampa Bay won with Steven Stamkos, Kucherov, and JT Miller they're actually the second rated line tonight in terms of value. So that's where I'm going to be going mostly tonight, is right there. Going to be getting lots of that full line, as well as even getting in some Victor Hedman as well. He's ranked 5th overall, even at he's at 6K, so that's cheap for him. So this is a perfect matchup to get tons of that full Tampa Bay 1 line, as well as you can even look the second line pops up fairly high from Tampa Bay here with Point, Palat, and Johnson. So there's a lot you can do with this game. I really like it from the Tampa Bay side of things. But with that being said, Tampa Bay also has one of the top defenses, according to our model, especially at home. And so because of that, not going to be touching any of the Devils players at all. Usually Hall pops up somewhere near the top, but because of that just ridiculous defense that Tampa Bay has had, he's not even showing up today. I don't think so. I don't see him anywhere near the top, so it's going to be all about Tampa Bay. And staying away from both Kincaid and any of the Devils, and getting lots of Vasilevskiy and lots of the Lightning tonight.
Yeah, and as far as defense, you can slip in Strawman, Hedman, and Coburn to go along. I don't know which one's on the power play with them. That would be...
So we got Hedman on power play 1, so if you're taking the Stamkos, Kucherov, Miller, take Hedman for sure. And then, the Point, Johnson, Gourde, however you say that. And then they have McDonough on that unit. I don't think our model loves McDonough that much.
No, we're not liking McDonough. So probably you want to stick to Hedman, even though that's probably an expensive stack.
Well, don't go. Just take the if you're going Tampa 2, just do the stack and find a defenseman from another line that you can pair with them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really go to McDonough.
On. So let's move along to the next game of the night between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Boston Bruins. We got Anderson projected and Tuukka Rask projected. And as far as goalies goes, these two are both in our second tier of goalies. And they're the only two in the second tier. So these are both pretty good picks. If you're going to pick any stacks, you can play either one of these guys.
Yeah, I was looking at... so they're both right around average value for the night. So you can go to them if they fit, sort of thing. So looking at the stacks here, we have, in terms of Boston, the one that pops up is the Boston one. It's sort of right on the bubble there. Actually, both of these teams are right on the bubble in terms of stacks that you can play. So for Boston, we have the Boston one with Marchand, Bergeron, and Pasternak, and then on the Leafs side of things, we have their number 1 line with Matthews, Nylander, and Hyman. And this has even taken into consideration that the Matthews line will take the brunt of that Marchand line and Bergeron and Pasternak. So it's even with that really tough defensive matchup, the model still does like that Leafs number one line. So that would be a pretty contrarian play there. And you could be fairly low owned. It's hard to say, especially with the playoffs. But you could do either of those lines from this game in terms of the stacks. Have you seen any defensemen?
Not really. There's not a lot of love for defensemen in either of these teams. If you do, I'd say the best one would be Krug for Boston, and he's on that first power play unit. But other than that, not seeing a whole lot here.
Yeah, Krug is definitely playable. 5,400 is pretty cheap for him, especially if you're going with Boston 1. So that's pretty much the only play there.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to the next game between the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Washington Capitals, where we have Sergei Bobrovsky projected and Philip Grubauer projected. And both of these goalies are in our tier 3 of the night. Not the best picks tonight, but you can if you need to stack them with a line.
Yeah, exactly. Or even a defenseman potentially. I think Jones should be up here somewhere. He's actually a little lower down than I expected he would be. Seth Jones there, even at 5,800. But you could take him if you are going with the number one line from the Blue Jackets. Just pulling up the stacks here. It looks like we got. In terms of Columbus here, we have to dip down a little ways, but they're definitely right on the bubble there as well. They're right below the last two lines we were talking about there. So the Dubois, Atkinson, Panarin line, I'll definitely have at least one of them. Hopefully a little more. Just depends how many lines I end up with, but they're for sure playable. So you could go them with Jones, and then that makes Bobrovsky potentially playable. And then on the other side of things, usually I look for John Carlson there for seeing if he's anywhere near the top. But yeah, so he's sort of the same thing. He's just a little bit above Seth Jones, actually. So if you're going to be going for a stack, we have Washington 1. They're a little ahead of those teams that we were just talking about. So they're around, I don't know, it looks like they're about 11th, 12th or so in terms of value. So you can go Washington 1 with Ovechkin, Wilson, Kuznetsov, plus Carlson. That's a nice little stack there. And then find a little bit some of the cheaper lines to pair with them. So I think those are the main plays from this game that I would really attack, but not going to go crazy with the goalies in this one.
All right, so let's move on to the Colorado Avalanche and the Nashville Predators. We got Jonathan Bernier projected and Rene projected. And we really like Rene tonight in this spot. He's in our top tier. And then Bernier, not so much. He's in our bottom tier. So stay away from Bernier.
Yeah, not a great spot for either of them, I guess. But, for Bernier there.
For Bernier, Pekka Rinne.
Pekka Rinne is in a great spot because, they should at least get the win, hopefully. Because
heavy favorite.
Yeah, fairly heavy favorite. So the only thing is he might not see as many shots, and the quality of those shots could be fairly high because of the McKinnon loaded up top line there, but still solid play there. That's why we just have him slightly behind the other, or Vasilevsky there. So, I really like. There's a lot to like from this game, especially on the Nashville side of things. Nashville 1, Nashville 2, they're both really high value plays. We actually have Nashville 2 is the top one, and then they're third overall, and then Nashville 1 is fourth overall. So you really can't go wrong there. You just have to make sure that you pair the defensemen correctly there. So
yeah, both Subban and Yossi are some of our top ranked D of the night. So, and they're both on the power play. Subban is on that power play 1 with Johansson, Arvidsson, Forsberg, and Smith, and then Yossi's on the other one with Turris, Fiala, and Bonino. Yeah,
and you're getting a ton of value with both of them because Subban's all the way down to 4,900.
And actually Ellis too, he's right up there as well. He's on the second power play too with Yossi and them. So yeah, you can do a lot with Nashville here.
Yeah, I was going to see, because in terms of team statistics, I was just going to see how much Colorado takes penalties on the road. So not so much. So it's not a great idea to pick on the power play from this game, but they're just a little worse than that, a little better than average, actually, I should say. But still, it's probably going to get done at even strength. But if you're pairing up the defenseman, that's how you would do it from this game. I think in terms of Colorado does have a couple lines show up near the top. So the top line is around that 11th spot as well, 12th or so. That's a solid play as well, because we've seen that the Predators' defense is not quite as good as people may think they are. We have definitely could take them, and then it actually really likes the as a super cheap line, the Nieto, Soderberg, Como, but that's almost too cheap to even play. So mainly just the first line from the Avalanche, as well as
Tyson Barrie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's right up there. He's not quite as high as those Nashville guys, but he is up there in like the top 10 value picks for D, and he does match with them on that first power play unit. So that's a good stack right there.
Yeah, that's been a strong play all season, those four.
Yeah. Right on. So let's head over to the Sharks and the Ducks, where we have Martin Jones projected and John Gibson projected. We have Gibson in our top one with Vasilevsky and Rene. We really like Gibson tonight. And then Jones, he's okay. He's in our tier 3 with Bobrovsky and Grubauer. What do you got for stacks that we can maybe match up with either of these guys? So
top stack comes in at second top of the night. Oh, actually, with our latest bump there, they are second now. Tampa Bay 1 is now first overall, but we have the Silfverberg, Kessler, and Cogliano stack. So they are the second line for the Ducks right now, and they're very valuable. As well as you can dip down to the Ducks. The first line is also in that top 10. They're about 8th or so, I think, here. So you can go there as well. You can also go to the top line from the Sharks. They're rated 7th-ish, I think. So they're just ahead of the Anaheim one. So there's another great option there, as well as Burns. You can pair with them. And as well for the Ducks, you can pair Montour with the top first power play. It seems like all the power play 1 defense are a real good value to stack with the top lines tonight. Yeah, you can even go to the third line from the Ducks I'm seeing here. They're about 9th or so in terms of value. So there's tons to love from this game. Who's on that third line? Third line with the Kasha, Henrique, and Ritchie there. So yeah, there's a ton of plays from this game overall. I'm just gonna check where was Burns end up here in terms of, okay, yeah, so Burns is up there. He's like 8th overall, I think. So that's another solid play. So there's ton to get here from the real late game, and that's always nice when you can get fairly loaded up with the end of your lineups there. So yeah, those are the main plays from this game, but you can really use almost any of those lines there that we mentioned. Right on. Yeah, so it looks good. Let's head on to our Puck Luck picks of the day, where Derek gives some stacks and some value picks in each tier of expense. Yeah, so in terms of a really expensive pick individually, we're gonna go with Steven Stamkos overall. He is the best play tonight. I think he's 6,900, so that's perfect. Then in terms of a sort of medium pick, I'm going to go with Roman Josi for 5,700. In terms of a cheap pick, I'm going to go with Kevin Fiala at 4,700. And then in terms of like a really cheap pick, I'm going to go with Andrew Cogliano from the Ducks at 3,600. So those are my individual players. And if I have 2 main stacks that I'm targeting for tonight, and that would be the Ducks second line with Kessler, Cogliano, and Silfverberg. And then the top overall line is the Stamkos, Kucherov, Miller line. And then there's one mini stack that I really like tonight, which is the Josi, Kevin Fiala combo right there. All right, right on. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter. We'll give you some updates if any line changes happen. And thank you for watching. We will see you tomorrow.